Hello crafters and welcome to the October 2023 release video hop by Altenew. My name is Deepa from Designs by D, and today I'm going to be sharing with you these two cards. Now one of them is a shaker card. This one here has a more conventional colors on it for Christmas, and this one has more unconventional colors and is just a plain card without a shaker. Now please do remember to like and subscribe and comment down below for your chance to win one of these prizes. There are $300 in total to be given away. And don't forget to do the same with the rest of the talented designers on the hop. Now, these are all of the products that I'm going to be using today. You can see that joy is the theme here. We've got a die set here. You not only get the outline, you get another die which cuts an outline, and then you get like the centers cut out, which is why this is perfect for a shaker card. You've got the joy foil plate here, so if you wanted to foil this, the coordinating die cuts that out perfectly, and I will be doing that in today's video. We also have the stencil set. You could cut out the joy and then you could just add different colors for the different letters. You can add some stripes. And then you also have the stamp set and then the coordinating die set for this smaller stamp set, Joyful Greetings. So you've got all of these beautiful greetings on here, and then the die set cuts out the two joy sentiments. And then I'm going to be using the festive greeting or greenery stencils here. There's 3 stencils and it creates a beautiful festive background for your cards. I absolutely love how it ends out coming out. Not to mention that if you do want to add some dimension to those, there's also a embossing folder that you can use with that stencil set. So those are all the products that we're going to be using today. Now, there is a lot more to the release. This is just what I'm using for my cards. So do go ahead and check out the shop. There's a link in the description below. Everything that is in the release is there, and you will see much more inspiration on this hop with the rest of the sets. Now I'm going to be using a bunch of inks here. There are 3 sets of fresh dye inks which were released this month, but I'm going to use more of the Christmassy colors here. I'm using Pumpkin Pie. I've got Mountain Pine, which is the darker green. I'm using Mountain Mist, which is the lighter, which has like more of like an emeraldy tone in it. And then I've also got some crimson and pink pearl for my reds and pinks. So as you can see, I'm still using the same stencil, and I've used the Mountain Mist, and then I'm taking the Mountain Pine and just darkening up different areas to create more depth. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the berries. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and add the stems. Now, I had a bit of trouble because I don't like to follow the rules half the time. And sometimes those order of the stencils are suggested and sometimes they are mandatory. And for this one, I'd say the order of those stencils are mandatory because you'll see that in order to line up one stencil with the next, there's an etched portion. And that main portion are the berries, which I decided to do last, right? So what you want to do is do those berries first, and then those berries will line up with the 2 other stencils to allow you to get everything in there properly in the right order and lined up well. Now, I did choose to use the pumpkin pie for the branches, and I thought that that would just look really nice. You can use a brown, you can use a green, it's completely up to you. And then for the berries, I'm using the pink pearl just as a base, and then I'm going to use the crimson to deepen it up in different areas to create more depth, just like we did with the leaf portion of the stencil set. And you'll see once you take it off, everything's going to come together nicely. So for this one, I did it the wrong way. I still managed to line it up, so it is possible to do that. So don't worry if you do it in the wrong order like I did. You just have to really look at where the circles are, where the berries would be, and it still lines up. Now, if you do it the right way, which is the way I'm going to do the second half of this, it works out perfectly and you don't have to do much thinking at all. Okay, so now let's try this the right way. So I love that I actually get a chance here to do it the right way for you, so you can see the way not to do it and the way you should do it. So this one, I'm going to start with the berries. That's stencil number 1. That's the way to go. And for this one, I'm going to use the pumpkin pie as the berries. So I'm going to have some yellow berries. Then I'm going to grab the pink pearl, and I'm going to use that for the leaves. And what I'm going to do again is I'm just going to add the color haphazardly around. What I want to do is create a variation in the tone so that I can create that depth like I did with the first card. So you can see in this case I only used one color, but just because I didn't, I added more ink in one area and less in the other, I was able to create that as well. Now keep in mind that the Altenew inks, they do tend to even out over time, so some of that will be lost, but that's completely fine. So now I am going to go ahead and put those stems in, and I'm using some Coral Bliss here. So this is the next color up from the pink pearl. And you can see that this turned out gorgeously. So I think that the yellow and pink looks really nice together. I'm going to take that off, and then all you have to do is take this panel and just line it up. All it takes is a little bit of eyeing it. Take a look at where it is in the folder. It actually is pretty easy to line up. You can see that didn't take me too long. If you want to make sure that it's not going to budge, you can take a bit of washi tape or something and tape it from the back so that it doesn't budge when you're putting it through your die cutting machine to emboss it. And you can see the embossing is absolutely amazing. So now I've got the green greenery, the green festive greenery piece here. And I've cut it down to size for a A2 size card with a bit of a border. And now I'm taking that Joy die and I'm just lining it up in the center. What I want to do is cut it out, and this is cutting out my window for my my shaker card. So I'll go ahead and tape that down, cut it out. And you'll notice I did keep that inner portion of the O to add there afterwards so that it would look complete when we add our acetate to it. So I'm going to take these two pieces and stick them together, and I'm sticking them in the embossing folder. You can tape them together. I'm going to do that here because it's just a little easier to do, and line it up, and then I'll put it through my die cutting machine to emboss it. Now you can see you get the two pieces embossed perfectly when you take it out. That Joy I'm not going to use, but I can just keep it and use it for another card. I think it would look good on a black background. I didn't end up using it here because I just ran out of time, but that's definitely something you can do, so you get two cards in one. I've got this gorgeous red starry foil here. I can't remember what it is called, but it is just amazing. I thought that I'd use it to foil the Joy. Now, because the Joy is such a thin line, you don't really notice too much of the starry bits, but I'd say it would work well for a foil plate that has more area to cover. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it on my glimmer machine here. I'm going to add my shims. It's already heated up, and I'll just press the timer button. Once that's solid, I can take this out of the machine, put it through my die cutting machine. So I did press it in my die cutting machine, and you can see the results when I take the foil off are gorgeous. Now, as I mentioned, that Joy die is going to cut out the Joy. So again, this takes a little bit of lining up. You've got to kind of look from the edge to see that you've actually lined it up perfectly. I did cross my fingers there, and it cut out absolutely perfectly. I was absolutely amazed. I love that that worked out. So it can take a bit of practice to get the hang of getting that die in the center there. You want to make sure that as you look through those little poke holes, you see the red and that you line it up along the edge. That's the best advice I can give for that. So now I've gone ahead and I've cut another Joy piece of cardstock out of white, and I'm going to do some heat embossing on this. So I'm grabbing that stencil set, and I'm taking the striped portion, lining it up, and again you can see I'm using my sticky mat to do this. How smart is that? See, I love that you can use the sticky mat on the stamp wheel for anything. As I've mentioned in one of my past videos, I'm in love with the stamp wheel for this. So I smushed in that VersaFine or Versamark ink, and I'm going to carefully lift it up. There is a bit of a clean border at the edge. So you can see I've got my tweezers on there so that it's not going to interfere with the embossing. I am doing that trick of getting the lid off with one hand, and I'm adding my Altenew rose gold embossing powder here. I have to say that besides the stamp wheel, the rose gold embossing powder is another thing I rave about. I love the color. I wouldn't say it's rose gold. It has more of a gold tone to it, but I just love that gold tone because it's like a subtle tone. I really love it. You can see how much I love it if you paid attention to how much was in my little bottle there, because I'm totally running out. I got to get some more. But look how gorgeous that looks once it's done. Now, I could have just left this as is, but I did want to add some color to it. I think actually in hindsight, the stark yellow with the rose gold embossing would have just looked fine. But I wanted to kind of make it match the background a little more. So I've got some vanilla cream ink, and I'm just going to grab some of this ink and add it to the white portions of the joy. So the reason why I wanted to do this is because then it also highlights the outline in white as well. And you can see that the way that the stencil is made up, you could actually do the J and a Y in a different color, and you could do the joy in a different color so that you have two colors and they're alternating, or you could do what I did and keep it as one. So what I wanted to do was add that vanilla cream so that it kind of matches more with those yellow berries that we put in the background. So moving on, I'm going to stamp out a sentiment or a sub-sentiment here. I've gone ahead and done it on some gray cardstock, and again I'm using that same rose gold embossing powder, and I'm going to heat emboss it here. Now I'll go ahead and cut that out into a little block to add to my card. I did that off camera. And I'm also going to stamp out another sub-sentiment. Now this one is for the green and red card on the gray background. And I just got To the World here. I'm just going to stamp it out and emboss it with some white embossing powder, and then I'll cut out a nice strip for my card base. So I'm going ahead and I'm attaching my joy here. You can see I've already attached the pink background here. The pink festive greenery, which is, I guess, festive pinkery. I don't know. Festive pink and yellow. I don't know. You tell me. But you can see it turns out looking pretty nice. Now that that one is pretty much done, I'll add some embellishments, but I'll save that till the end. I'm going to go ahead and put together my shaker card here. So I've got my acetate out. So I've cut a nice sized piece of acetate that's just enough to cover the joy but not stick outside of the card panel. I'm attaching it with some tape runner here on the back, and now I've got that foiled and cut joy die cut piece here. I'm going to just add some glue and add that to the center of that acetate window. Now remember, I kept the center of the O, and I was going to place that on there to make it complete. I realized that I really didn't need to, so I just skipped that part. So what I've done is I've attached like a light peachy pink, like a blush cardstock to the card base there to show through the joy, just to match with the color scheme. It's not as stark as the white, and it's going to allow the little bits that I put in there to show up a little more. Now I'm adding some foam adhesive to create the well, or basically the outline, or the what do you call this? It's the well. I'm gonna call it the well, the area that you put your bits in. And then I've also added some extra adhesive bits around the outside so that the entire panel sits on the same level. Sorry about that. I'm at a loss for words today. So anyways, I'm grabbing some of these crystals. Now these crystals are things that I've collected from things that I've bought. Like I think there was a phone case I bought, and it had like a lanyard with it that had a whole bunch of these crystals in it. There was no use for the lanyard, so I just kind of cut it open and kept all of them, and that's what I've been using for this. So I'm just upcycling these things, and I thought they were so pretty. Look how gorgeous it looks here in the shaker window. So now I've gone ahead and I added the To the World in the center there, and I can go ahead and add some embellishments. So I've got the Altenew Tea Party enamel dots. I thought that the red, I think this is the crimson. It looks perfect with the joy and the berries in the background. So I'm adding some of those here. You can see that, I do kind of add them lightly at first so I can reposition them if I want to. And then once I've got them exactly where I want them all, I'll just press them down a little harder. Now for this pink joy card, I'm going to use just some plain clear gems because I think that there's enough color on there. I want to add a bit of shine, right? The first card has all those shaker bits to add the shine, and this has got the embellishments. So those are my two cards for you, featuring the festive greenery set, the joyful blessings, and all of those gorgeous joy dies, hot foil plates, etc. I hope that you've liked this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as I mentioned before. And again, I hope that you guys like these products and check out the shop. And please, please do remember to comment down below so that you have a chance to win. Good luck to you, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.